This is going to be your content marketing strategy for 2023, how to shake off the cobwebs of 2022, how to leave behind all those shortcomings, those fears that you had, maybe all those attempts at giving social media a go, but perhaps it wasn't quite right. And I know that you're probably approaching 2023 with a fresh mindset, or perhaps not. Perhaps you're thinking that was something of 2022 and I'm going to leave it behind and it's not coming with me in 2023. With this live, if you're tuning in, what I hope to achieve with you is a reset button. All I want to help you do is press the reset button and feel motivated again, and feel inspired to give it another shot, because otherwise, what else is there? Right? We don't always accomplish our goals at the first attempt. So, if 2022 was the year you dipped your toe in and started trying social media and content marketing, and you weren't quite satisfied with the results, then let's try and see what we can do in 2023 to shake things up. So if you're with me and you're ready, give me a hell yeah in the comments, or just quietly tune in and listen and take some notes, because what I'm going to be giving you in this session is some top tips, reminders. Some of these things are so simple. You've heard of them a million times, but are you doing them? I find that a lot of my clients are told the same things over and over again, and they sound really simple. But then when I check in with them, or when I kind of get the scoop on their work, I'm like, oh, you haven't quite actually done it. So sometimes the simplest things are exactly what is needed. Perhaps you're just missing those core essentials, or those basic top tips, basic strategies, and that's all that is needed. I'll apologize in advance, by the way. With the winter, I've got every single virus you can possibly think of, right? I've had them all, right? I've had everything. So apologies if I cough, sneeze, sniffle, wipe my nose. It is what it is. It's alive, so I just want to look my best, but at the same time, fight these colds. So let's kick things off then, in terms of what you actually need to be doing in 2023 to shake off the cobwebs of 2022, but have a really strong base and a really strong start to your content marketing. Okay. The first thing is, you have to get insanely organized, right? There just is no other way. You have to be really, really organized with when you're going to do your content, what time, what day you're going to release it, what day you're going to actually create it. So there's the creation time, and then there's the posting time. The days you're actually going to be engaging with other people's posts, maybe the days in which you're going to be growing your following, the days that you're going to take a break, because believe me, you're going to want to take a break. You're going to want to put the camera down. But that does not mean you have to put down the content strategy. That does not mean the plan takes a rest just because you're resting. So we're going to go through all these things. How can you rest and still keep content going? How does that even happen? So we'll go through all that. We'll also go through what kind of content, or what kind of platforms where you should be posting, and what should you be posting? How should you be creating your content? So I want to start with getting organized and getting intentional and planning. And I also want to fit into that section mindset. Mindset is hugely important when it comes to running your business online and trying to build a brand. It has to play a big part in what you do, your mindset. By the way, if you have questions as I go, you are more than welcome to drop a comment. By dropping the comment, I'm actually going to be able to see your comments live, and I will do my best to answer them as fast and as best as I can. If you don't want to comment live, where others will obviously be able to see your comment too, feel free to drop me a question privately, but that won't be answered live because I won't be able to look at my messages. So if you do want to ask private questions, I can come back to them after the live and answer you individually. Okay, one more nose wipe and we'll get cracking. Gosh, colds and flus. If anyone is feeling, I'm actually feeling absolutely fine. It's just, the sniffles of, and it's raining. I don't know if you can hear the beautiful rain on my conservatory. It's just so cozy today. But right, so let's talk about mindset first. So, mindset, when it comes to social media, is all about finding your own space, finding your own voice, and also trying to block out, guys. Oh my gosh, as much as possible, try and block out what everyone else is doing, what everyone else is saying, who's doing what. Are they doing more than me? Are they look better than me? Oh, I don't think I'm good enough. Like, that's what's going to come up, and it will come up. And if you're one of those people that you think you are strong, robust, tough, and you think, nah, that stuff doesn't affect me, I promise you it will. It just absolutely gets the best of the strongest people and also those who perhaps just need that extra little bit more courage. So we're all in the same boat. And just because someone comes across confident on social media does not mean they don't have their own fears and worries and shortcomings, or so everyone's going to have this fear. Everyone's going to have this fear of, am I doing enough? Is this even working? Am I reaching people? Am I even going far enough? What's the point? So really take control of your mindset. Understand that this is gonna happen. You are going to feel nervous. You're going to second guess yourself. You're going to question what you're doing. You're also going to question what the coach, like, let's say you have a coach or a social media manager. You're also going to question what they're doing. You're going to think that they're not doing enough, and you're probably going to think, oh, actually, is that good enough, or should I go with that coach? It's really easy to quit your coach. Don't hop coaches too often and too quickly, because you will run out of the good ones. And if you've not given them enough time to work with you, by the time you've gone through 2 or 3, you're going to then struggle to find your 4th or your 5th coach, because to try and find a really good coach that then gets you and gets your strategy and can pick things up and achieve what you want them to achieve without giving them enough time is going to be hard. So catch yourself second guessing yourself, and also catch yourself when you're second guessing the person you're working with or your coach. The best thing to do in that situation is take a step back and always remind yourself, why did you start in the first place? If you're feeling like quitting, if you're feeling like this is just not going where I want it to go, you got to do 2 things. One, reassess what your goals and measures actually are. Have you over-egged it, right? Have you actually overestimated how much can be achieved in a short space of time? Have you actually got proper measures and goals in place that helps you understand if you're on the upward curve or the downward curve, or are you standing still? Try and have those measures so that when your mindset tries to trick you into thinking that you're not doing well, go back to those goals, go back to assessing where you were and how far you've come. And that goes not just with content marketing, but that goes with anything, with any goal that you're trying to achieve, whether it's fitness or, rebuilding a brand new home project. Like, what are your measures, right? What is your plan? What is your construction plan to get to where you want to be? The other thing is, when you're second guessing maybe someone you're working with, like a consultant or a social media manager or a coach, if you're second guessing them, have a chat. Just talk to them. Like, that's the whole point. You got them in the first place. Just say, look, can we have an off-record conversation? I'm having a little bit of a wobble. That's what I usually say to anyone I work with. I'd be like, look, I'm having a wobble. I don't know if it's me and just my thoughts, or if it's actually something that I've noticed you do and I'm not quite okay with. Can we please have a chat? Like, be open and honest. Like, you can't just work with your coach and social media manager when everything's rosy and lovely. Think about working that relationship, right? Don't just quickly give up and throw in the towel and say, right, well, you didn't do what you said you were going to do. And that's it. I'm moving on to the next coach. Some people don't even do that. They don't even have the common kind of I would call it common courtesy to even say, listen, it's not really working out. I feel like trying something fresh. So try and not be a quitter when at that first hurdle, whether it's with yourself or with a coach. Try and give yourself and the coach the respect to talk to one another and say, look, let's check in. It's been 3 months. How is this supposed to work? And have that assessment. So January is a great time to have an assessment with yourself, or to have an assessment with your social media manager and coach or consultant, whoever you're working with. We might have a special visitor today. She's just jumped on me, my cat. So have a check-in with yourself. So that's the first thing with mindset and how you can shake off the cobwebs of 2022. Just approach your consultant and say, look, time for a chat. Let's have a check-in. Let's reassess and check in with yourself as well. Do you, hand on heart, can you quite honestly say that you definitely did everything you could to make this work? Did your consultant give you a step-by-step strategy from the beginning? And have you religiously followed it to the letter the whole time? If the answer to that is no, then that's okay. Like that's a good thing. If you think you haven't actually been able to do everything you were told to do, then that's a good sign, which means that the reason it hasn't quite worked out yet, the answer is right there in front of you. Once you've tried that plan, once you've put that plan into place and given it enough time, and you've got to be in it for the this is a long game, right? This is not just a quick fix, short-term solution. This is a long game that you've got to play with social media and your content. If you quite honestly think, actually, if I'm fair with myself, remember, you're the one that spent the money. If you're working with a social media manager and a coach or a consultant, you're the one that spent the pounds. So it's in your interest to ensure that what you paid for, you're actually using, and you're not just using 3/4 of it, a quarter of it, half of it. Actually use what you've bought. The consultant, the job of the consultant is that they've given you their knowledge. They've given you everything they know. They've held your hand. They've coached you. They've trained you. Some of this, I don't know what kind of coach you're using, but like some of the stuff that I teach, I actually do for my clients. So there's a responsibility there that I have, and then there's a responsibility that my client has, and we have to meet in the middle. Now, if your coach has gone as far as they could and they've met all their responsibilities, but you haven't, and you've not yet met yours, then that's a good sign. It's good to be honest with yourself and say, I actually haven't done everything I'm supposed to, which means that by doing so, you've got a chance. That's the hope of it working. So for anyone who's ever worked with me and you're listening to this, please, 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 I am open to having honest, candid conversations where we have a blunt conversation about what we've met, what we've not met, what we've achieved, what we've not achieved, what the milestones are, what we've still got to do. I'm quite happy to have an honest and open conversation if you want to approach me. The other thing I'm open to doing is giving you a refresher, reminding you, please, if you've worked with me, if we've had that business day retreat where we spend a day out of your office and we've spent a full day creating a content strategy, please revisit the modules, are your social media profiles as optimized as they could be? I've checked all of yours. Okay. That sounds really like headmistressy, but I did used to be in the education system. I did used to actually be a teacher. So I'm very, very hot on homework and ensuring that you've done it. So I've checked all of your profiles, and no, they are not as great as they could be, right? There's things that I've suggested that you add to your profiles that are not there. So that's definitely one thing that I can see from the outside looking in, where I've said, add your profile video, create a new banner, add a really good searchable, highly optimized caption underneath your name, add the voice note, add the bio. There's so many things that I've said how to optimize it. The rest is up to you, or you hand it over to me and I'll do it for you for a tiny fee. Like, we'll work something out. So make sure that if you've worked with me before, and obviously those who haven't worked with me, you can obviously steal this strategy for sure, but you got to make sure that your social media profiles are optimized. Number two, have you thought about what kind of brand message, what kind of brand you stand for, what kind of brand identity you'd like to have online? Have you fine-tuned who you want to be on social media? Okay. Are you the funny guy? Are you the news reporter? Are you the reels and entertainment guy? Are you the educational kind of thought leader on social media? So try and decide how exactly you want your brand to come across, and do you have that consistency? Have you created, for example, templates when you come to creating content? The other thing is creating templates. Now I'm going to attempt at sharing my screen here. So what I want to show you is how your brand needs to be consistent. Okay. So, for example, bear with me. Do you have a look like this? So, this is, I'm going to use mine because I don't want to use my clients as an example because it's not fair. So, I'll use myself. Do you have templates with content ideas? Look at that. Content ideas, right? So I already here to kickstart the year, I've already got myself, let's have a look. I've got 32 content ideas that are ready to go with a title. I've got the thumbnails already created. I've got pictures that I want to use. I might change it later, but I've got those content ideas, and all that is left is for me to actually either do a live or to create a blog or to actually record a video. So all these, for example, what I'm showing you right now in terms of these thumbnails is my YouTube short thumbnails. I've prepared what I want to be talking about on YouTube. So these are my thumbnails, and then I'm going to be repurposing them for other posts. So do you have a space where you've created in your recording suite or your content creation suite? Have you got templates ready? Have you got a list of content ideas ready? Now, if you've worked with me, I know hands down you've got at least 100 to 300 content ideas like that. I just know. I know that at least, whether we spent a whole day together or we spent 6 weeks together, you've got about 100 to 300 content ideas that I helped you source, not to mention having taught you how to actually create content ideas for yourself and how to find new and innovative ways to find content. So basically, you've got endless content ideas. It all comes into the preparation, the mindset, and revisiting those top tips that we went through. So social media profiles must be up to date. Your brand messaging must be key and on point. Is your message clear? Number three, anyone who's ever worked with me, whether it was for 1 day or 6 weeks or 6 months, we always go through real life examples. I always go through my customers' CRM system, their completions tab, and I look at their last 12 to 18 months worth of completions. Check in with your completions. What kind of customers have you been working with? What kind of clients come to you? What's the pattern? I always get my clients to think about what's repeating itself. Success leaves clues. I'm going to say that again. Success leaves clues. The clue to how to take your business to the next level with intention. This year, guys, is about being intentional. It's about having purpose. That is going to come from understanding what your business, how your business has got to where it's got to up until this point, understanding why are you successful up until now, right? What has made you successful today, and how can you rinse and repeat that strategy, tweak it to go next level? And that's exactly what I work on with my clients, not just, hey, here's a pretty picture for Instagram, post that. We work on their business strategy and how to actually use customers, the customer successes. Right, you're going to burn yourself. Sorry, I just have to save my cat from burning herself on the candle. So, so yeah, basically, how are you going to repeat that success? So I want you to look out. This is called the customer avatar. Do you understand what your customer pains are, what they're struggling with, right? It's always better to in marketing terms, right? There's different philosophies, right? And that's what happens when you use different marketing strategists. That one believes one thing, the other believes another. I personally believe that from a human psychology point of view, people are faster or are quicker to spend money to solve a problem than to achieve a wish. Okay, let me say that again. So people chase the want to the problem to be solved rather than the wish to be granted. Even when you say to someone, okay, you got 3 wishes, what is it? Most of the time it's to remove a problem. I wish that I had more money, or I wish to be out of debt, right? That is a negative positive wish, right? It's I wish to be out of debt. The wish isn't I wish to earn £100,000 per annum, or I wish to be a multimillionaire, right? Some people do wish that, but the problem is the reason they're perhaps not a multimillionaire is because maybe they're in debt and they don't know how to live the millionaire life. So that's just a really quick, rough example just to explain that people want problems to be solved. So, what problems do your customers want solving? So, for example, if you're working with first time buyers, yes, their wish is to have their first home, but maybe their current problem is to get out of the rent trap, to get out of the rent race. All right. They can't seem to save. Yes, that's the wish. The wish is, I want a home. But the problem is, I can't seem to save a deposit fast enough with the house prices going up and the deposit requirement becoming higher and higher. Whilst I'm still paying rent, whilst I'm still trying to have the bare minimum lifestyle possible. That's their problem. How do they get themselves out of that problem? And that's where you come in as a financial advisor or as their mortgage broker. How can you, or with anything to do with money, how can you help that person get out of that problem and into their dream solution? So that's what I'm talking about, your customer avatar. And that's what I go through all my clients is, let's understand who your customer is. That's the first time buyer example. What about an investor, someone who's prolific at buying properties? What would their problem be? They're not going to care about, paying too much rent or how to save a deposit. They've done that 12 times. They've got a portfolio of 12 properties, but their problem might be about how to be as tax efficient as possible now, right? With all the rules that are changing. I know my parents, for example, with their portfolio, the biggest hit that they noticed was how they were able to claim expenses and how they weren't able to offset the same expenses as before, and therefore they didn't see the same net profit returns. So that's their problem. So they're always talking to accountants and advisors on how they can improve their net profit on the properties. So if that's your ideal customer, then the content strategy is completely different. You can't be giving top tips on how to save a deposit and how to get on the property ladder if in your completions table most of your customers are professional landlords. Like, that's going to switch your customer off. So you've got to make sure that your content is actually relevant to your existing client base and to the future ones that you want to attract. So a portfolio landlord is going to be more interested in content that is about tax efficient investments, how to make your portfolio more tax efficient, how to scale your portfolio without incurring any extra, tax, without incurring any extra fees or any extra losses. A portfolio landlord might also be interested in diversifying the portfolio. So maybe this is where you come to introduce commercial investment and saying, right, okay, actually commercial right now with the rates, is not that great, but, long term, because you've already got 12 two-bed semis, perhaps you might consider doing more of a commercial lease, so trying to diversify your client's portfolio is the kind of content that they might be interested in, development projects, before and after, angel investors, all that kind of stuff. So think about your ideal customer. So then I want to talk about, so we've spoken about mindset, right? And how to have honest conversations, check in, milestones, goals, reassessments, honest conversations with the people around you that you work with. We've then also spoken about what you need to reassess in order to have a strong strategy, right? How to ensure that you are absolutely set up for success. I now want to talk about getting insanely organized. And as you can see, I need to charge my battery here. So I thought it was plugged in. When you plug something in and the switch is off, and then you just realize it wasn't on. Yeah, that's my situation right now. So bear with me. Right. The last thing I want to talk about, apologies about that. The last thing I want to talk about is getting insanely organized. And organization is going to be the key to ensuring you don't fall off the wagon. It's going to be the key to ensuring that you do not, fall off or, get demotivated, and that happens with getting organized. So obviously content, there's a lot to do. There's daily content, weekly content, monthly content, there's lives, reels, videos, posts, and you're like, how am I supposed to keep up with everything? Here's a really, really, really quick, short, snappy strategy that you could follow. Okay, so the long, big form content, let's park that to one side because I can show you a really quick way to make that in no time. Let's just think about the short form content that is going to be the quickest win, the most engaging. It's going to be where you're going to get the most following and the most views and the most engagement, because that's where it's at the moment, right? From an algorithm point of view and the way we live our lifestyle, we like short, snappy content. Not like this, that's nearly half an hour, because this is a completely different style. So here's what's going to happen. I'll give you you can steal my strategy right now with what I'm doing with this live and how purposeful this is going to be for the future. Okay, so this is what happens. So I've just done a 30-minute educational piece of content where I speak for half an hour about all my top tips that you can, as many top tips as I can fit in for 2023 to get you kickstarted and have a really strong year and shake off the content cobwebs of 2022. Now, this video with my team, what we do for us as Manuka Media and what we do for our clients is we then transcribe this into a text. So this will then be transcribed into a long form article, and our proofreaders and content copywriters, they will edit it to make it flow, because obviously I talk naturally, but when you write, it's still going to sound natural and engaging, and it's going to sound like me, but it needs to read properly. So we're going to tweak it and edit it. Then that becomes the blog that we are going to upload to our website, which is going to be great for SEO, right? So we've got great keywords there and lots of content. And if someone doesn't want to watch the video, they can read it. So that's going to serve its purpose there. We're then also going to use that blog, that piece of text, and we're going to post it in our LinkedIn newsletter. So I've got about 2,000 subscribers, maybe just under that, on my LinkedIn newsletter, which means that all those people will get an email with that transcript, right? And I'll probably add some pictures in there and a link to this live video. So that's the second. So right now I've got 3 pieces of content from one exercise: a long live video. I've then created a newsletter. I've created a blog for the website. I could also post the blog. So I'm now at number 4. I can post a blog on LinkedIn and actually post it as an article on there. So that's number 4. Then the magic happens when my social media manager cuts that down into mini pieces of content. And how we do that is we have a system set up for success on Canva, which essentially entails having templates like I showed you before in the screen share. We have thumbnails and templates that we can change anytime we want. So the branding and the color scheme is always the same. We just change it. So she's going to chop down my long piece of content into mini posts. So she's going to have one-liners or a statement or a quote or a statistic, and she's going to try and extract as many top tips that I've shared with you today in those short little posts. Then my video editor, right, is then going to clip this video. We can't just post 30-minute videos on Facebook and Instagram. It's fine for live because people can tune in anytime. But this video is going to be then chopped down into mini segments. Happy New Year. Everyone's wishing Happy New Year. Good morning. Happy New Year, Chris. So we're then going to chop this down into mini segments. So there's going to be 10-second clips, 30-second clips, and we're going to use those videos for YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels, or just Instagram posts, stories as well, because I can't post this on my stories because it's too long. So guys, I've lost count. That was about 6 or 7 different strategies just from one live video. You've got a live video. You don't have to go live if you don't want to. You can just record a long piece of content, a long video, and then we can chop it down. So try and implement that into your 2023. See if that shakes things up a bit. See if that makes you more organized. Remember, what I'm talking about right now is being organized, intentional, purposeful, and being really, really laser focused. So that is my strategy to you for free. Consider it your, New Year's resolution, your New Year's gift, which is to, break down that content in that particular order. Now, you cannot possibly, if you are a financial advisor or a mortgage broker that is already earning 100K per annum, or wants to, like if that is your goal, if you're still trying to achieve your 6-figure business, you should not be creating Canva posts, chopping down videos, editing, creating videos, creating blogs and articles. Like your focus, your mission is to increase your customer base and to serve your customers and to give advice and to spend more time doing one-to-ones with your customer. You've probably not got an admin. Maybe you do have an admin person. If you don't have an administrator or a social media content creator, that could be your first goal of 2023. Like it's got your intention must be to offload as much of that non-income producing activity to your assistants, right? So that's going to have to be the best way to create more space and more opening and more time for you to actually go that next level, right? You can't possibly give the advice, package the case, make the proposal, then create a video, then chop that video down, create a blog. Like that is insanely busy and time wasting. So that strategy I've just given you must be collaborated or must be worked on together with your social media manager or your coach. If your coach does not give you a done for you service, if they just give you the strategy and the plan and they just say, look, I'm just teaching you what to do, but they don't have the done for you service, then please come and find us. Right? We've got that done for you service. We're happy to collaborate with any other coach that gives you a plan, and the rest of us will just deliver the plan for you. If you don't have a coach, and you need to just discover within yourself, do you want a done for you service? Do you want a group service? Do you want to just be someone in a group online on Zoom where the coach, the teacher tells you what to do, how to do it, and then you go off and do it? Or do you want that one-to-one approach? So really get organized with how you want to work with people and what time you've got to dedicate to this. Any of our done for you customers, anyone who comes to us and says, no, you just do it for us, they don't just offload everything. They still have a hand, they still have a presence, very much active presence in the marketing strategy, because after all, it's your business, it's your brand. Like, you can't outsource your personality, your face, your voice, your way of being. Like, this is your business, your brand, and this is how you come across online. So I absolutely have my clients involved every single step of the way. It's just I do the heavy lifting and the heavy stuff for them. That saves them a lot of time and hours that they can dedicate back to their clients and their networking and lead generation. So really get organized, right? Figure out realistically how much time you're willing to spend on social media. Is it 20 minutes a day? Is it 10 minutes a day? Tell your manager that that's what you want to do. Don't just assume that they're going to take over all of the tasks and all the activities, and don't assume that you can actually do it all yourself as well, because I guarantee you, I absolutely guarantee you, because I've seen this a million times with everyone I've worked with, to save costs, which I can appreciate everyone wants to do around this time of year, but it's going to hinder you in the future, because what you're going to do is you're going to keep everything in house because you think, oh yeah, no, I can do that. Oh, that sounds really simple. I'll do that. Oh no, I'll do Canva. Canva's just some simple post. And then what ends up happening is something's got to give. And the last thing you would want to fall off the wagon off with is your customer base, right? If you're spending too much time on Canva, who's servicing your customers? Who's doing the follow-up calls, right? And you think, no, I will squeeze them in at some point, but at what cost? Are you tired by the time you call your customers because you've just been told to create 30 thumbnails or, 5 videos, and now you're exhausted, exasperated by how much you've had to do on social media? You're actually not your best self when you approach your customers. So your energy, your focus, your laser vision must be with your customers, right? They're the ones that need you. Your content, your branding, your marketing, of course it needs you. Of course it needs an element of you, but really stay true to your time. Your time is money. I know that everyone always says that, but make sure that you're spending time on income producing activities and leaving the rest to your support. Right, guys, that's all I've got time for today. I'm going to be doing more lives on a maybe day or bi-daily basis, depending on what the feedback is. If anyone wants more of this, I will. But obviously, I will produce regular content on a daily basis that you can pick up tips from as well. If you are new to following me and new to this channel, there is a whole history, a whole library of content that I've created in the past. If you just search Manuka Media on Instagram or on LinkedIn. On LinkedIn, I'm mostly posting as Rosalia Lazara, and on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook, I'm posting as Manuka Media. So please do have a look at the historic content if you want that extra bit of a boost. As always, I'm open to private chats. If you want to ask me private questions about your plan, about the future of your business online on social media, I'm happy to answer private questions. Thank you to everyone who was tuning in today. And Happy New Year. Happy New Year. I really hope that your lessons and your shortcomings, your setbacks from 2022 become your comebacks in 2023. I hope that your year is filled with as much joy and success and happiness. I really do wish that for you. So have a great one, and I'll speak to you guys again soon.